The text arrived at 11:23 p.m. 3 words, no explanation. We need to talk. Angela Rayner stared at her phone. She knew that tone. She'd seen Keir Starmer's careful, calculated approach to conflict before. But this felt different. This felt final. In the corridors of Westminster, everyone talks about unity. The Labour Party, freshly victorious after 14 years in opposition, was supposed to be different. No infighting, no drama, just competent government. But behind the cameras, behind the carefully staged photo opportunities, a civil war was brewing. And at its center stood two people who were supposed to be allies: Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, and Angela Rayner, his deputy. The cracks started showing within weeks of the July 2024 election victory. Starmer wanted control, total control. Every policy decision, every media appearance, every parliamentary strategy had to go through him. That was his style: cautious, deliberate, risk averse. Rayner was the opposite: bold, outspoken, unfiltered, the working class fighter who dragged herself up from poverty to become deputy leader. She didn't ask permission. She didn't wait for approval. And Starmer hated that. August 2024. The new government was settling in. Cabinet meetings were supposed to be professional, collegial. Instead, they became battlegrounds. Rayner would push for radical housing reform. Starmer would block it as too soon. She'd demand immediate action on workers' rights. He'd insist on proper consultation. She wanted bold moves. He wanted safe bets. Their teams started briefing against each other. Nothing explicit, just whispers. Sources close to the deputy PM say versus number 10 insiders suggest. The media loved it. Every minor disagreement became a headline. Every policy difference became a split. Every awkward photo became evidence of tension. But the real war wasn't happening in public. It was happening in private meetings, late night phone calls, and strategic calculations about who controlled what. September 2024 brought the first major flashpoint. Rayner gave a speech about housing, powerful, emotional. She talked about her own experience in social housing, about families struggling to find homes, about the moral duty to act. The crowd loved it. Standing ovation. Social media went wild. Starmer's team was furious. She hadn't cleared the speech with number 10. She'd committed the government to specific policies without consultation. She'd made promises Starmer wasn't sure he could keep. The next morning, a carefully worded statement from Downing Street. The Deputy Prime Minister was speaking in a personal capacity. Government policy will be announced in due course. Translation: she went rogue, and we're reining her in. Rayner's team fired back with their own briefing. The Deputy PM speaks for millions of Labour voters who want action, not excuses. Translation: the grassroots are with us, not with Starmer's cautious centrism. The battle lines were drawn, but this wasn't just about policy. This was about power, about who really controlled the Labour Party, about whether Starmer's careful managerial approach would define the government, or whether Rayner's passionate activist energy would push them further left. October 2024, party conference season. In public, Starmer and Rayner appeared together, smiling, united, the perfect leadership team. In private, their teams were at war. Rayner wanted a prominent speaking slot. Starmer's people tried to limit her time. She wanted to announce new policies. They insisted everything had to be cleared first. The compromise left nobody happy. Rayner gave her speech. Toned down, carefully vetted, nothing spontaneous allowed. The activists in the hall could tell. The energy was different. She was being muzzled, and everyone knew who was holding the leash, but Rayner wasn't going to stay quiet forever. November 2024, a leaked memo. Someone, nobody knew who, though everyone had theories, leaked an internal strategy document to the press. It detailed number 10's concerns about Rayner's unpredictability and suggested ways to manage her public appearances. The headlines were brutal. Starmer tries to silence deputy. And Labour's unity facade crumbles. Rayner's team denied being behind the leak. Nobody believed them. Starmer's team launched an investigation into who leaked it. Nobody expected results. The real damage wasn't the leak itself. It was what it revealed, that number 10 saw Rayner as a problem to be managed, not a partner to be trusted. December 2024 brought the policy showdown everyone had been waiting for: workers' rights legislation. This was Rayner's baby. She campaigned on it for years. It was central to Labor's election promises. She wanted it bold. Day one rights for workers, ban on 0 hour contracts, proper sick pay from the start. Starmer wanted it watered down, business friendly, implemented gradually, nothing that would scare investors or trigger negative headlines from business groups. The cabinet debate was reportedly fierce. Rayner argued passionately. Starmer remained unmoved. The compromise? A watered down version that pleased nobody, too timid for the union, still too radical for business. Rayner voted for it in cabinet. She had to. Collective responsibility and all that. But her silence afterwards spoke volumes. No triumphant press conference, no victory lap. Just a terse statement supporting the government's decision. Everyone understood what that meant. She'd lost the battle. But the war, that was still ongoing. January 2025. The new year brought new tensions. Starmer was preparing his first major international summit. Image mattered. He needed to look like a serious, stable leader. Rayner was scheduled to attend as deputy prime minister. Then, 3 days before departure, her invitation was quietly withdrawn. Scheduling conflict, number 10 claimed. Rayner's team knew better. She was being sidelined, kept away from the big stage, reduced to domestic duties while Starmer played statesman. The briefing started again. Sources close to Rayner suggested she was considering her position. Number 10 insiders insisted the relationship was fine. Nobody believed either side. February 2025. The incident everyone had been waiting for. Prime Minister's questions. Starmer was facing tough questions about housing policy, Rayner's territory. A conservative MP asked a specific question about social housing targets. Starmer gave a cautious, non-committal answer. Rayner, sitting next to him on the front bench, was caught on camera. Her expression said everything. Frustration, disagreement, barely concealed anger. The clip went viral within minutes. Rayner's reaction says it all. By evening, both teams were in damage control mode, but the damage was done. The world had seen what everyone in Westminster already knew. These two were barely on speaking terms. Behind closed doors, the confrontation was reportedly explosive. Starmer demanded loyalty. Rayner demanded respect. Neither was willing to budge. March 2025. The government was 6 months old and already showing cracks. Backbench MPs were taking sides. Some backed Starmer's cautious approach. Others preferred Rayner's bold instincts. Union leaders started making noise. They backed labor expecting radical change. Instead, they were getting incremental tweaks, and Rayner was their champion. The one voice in government arguing for what they wanted. Starmer's team saw the danger. If the unions turned against him, if the party membership sided with Rayner, his position could become untenable. So they made a calculation. April 2025. A major reshuffle was announced. Rayner kept her title as deputy prime minister, but her responsibilities were restructured. Housing moved to another minister. Workers' rights consolidated under someone else. On paper, it looked like streamlining. In reality, it was a demotion disguised as reorganization. Rayner accepted it publicly. What choice did she have? Resigning would split the party. Staying meant enduring the humiliation. She chose to stay. But everyone knew this wasn't over, because Angela Rayner doesn't back down. She never has. From her days as a care worker to her rise through labor ranks, she's been underestimated, dismissed, and written off. Every time, she's come back stronger. May 2025. An interview, seemingly innocuous. Rayner was asked about her relationship with Starmer. She gave the expected answer. We work well together. We share the same goals. But then she added something else. Though sometimes you need people who will fight for what's right, not just what's safe. That one sentence caused chaos. Was she criticizing Starmer? Was she positioning herself as the bold alternative to his caution? Was she preparing to challenge him? Her team insisted it was taken out of context. Starmer's team said they had full confidence in the deputy PM. The denials only made it worse, because everyone in Westminster understood the subtext. This wasn't a partnership. It was a Cold War. Two leaders, one party, fundamentally different visions, and only one could win. The question now haunting Labor MPs, how long can this last? A year, 2 years, until the next election, or will something break? A resignation, a challenge, an open split that tears the party apart just as they've finally won power. Some MPs quietly hope Starmer will simply remove Rayner, but she was elected deputy leader by party members. He can't just sack her. She has her own mandate. Others hope Rayner will get tired and leave, but she's waited her entire life for this opportunity. She's not walking away. So they're stuck. Two powerful politicians, mutual dependence, mutual distrust. Starmer needs Rayner because she connects with voters he can't reach, working class communities, union members. The activist base. Rayner needs Starmer because he's prime minister. Challenging him directly would split the party and give power back to the conservatives. So they smile for cameras. They sit together at events. They maintain the illusion of unity. But behind closed doors, the war continues. Every policy debate, every appointment, every decision becomes another battle in the long campaign for control of labor's soul. And the most dangerous part? Neither can afford to lose. If Starmer crushes Rayner completely, he loses the left of the party. If Rayner undermines Starmer too much, labor looks divided and chaotic. They need each other. They can't stand each other. Welcome to Labor's secret civil war, where the enemy isn't across the aisle. It's sitting right next to you on the front bench. And the battle for the future of British politics is being fought not in Parliament, but in the silent spaces between two leaders who refuse to back down. The text Rayner received that night in November was just the beginning. We need to talk. They're still talking, still fighting, still pretending everything's fine. But everyone knows the truth. This isn't sustainable. Something has to give. The only question is, who breaks first?